you come? Who do you see? It isn't me. It isn't me. I walk a road, 'cause Valley D, or so I'm told. Shit ain't for free. It's not for me. It's not for me. But you didn't come here for nothing, or even to see how it could have been. No, you came here to change things, 'cause there's such a thrill in difference. Who do you want? Who do you need? What makes you come? What makes you bleed? Could it be me? Could it be me? The river goes into the sea, or so I'm told. Would you believe? It's not like me. It's not like me. But you didn't come here for nothing, or even just to make my head spin. No, you came here for loving, but it doesn't make a difference. No, it doesn't make a difference to who you want. Do it for me. Do it for fun. Do it to please. It's not for me. It's not for me. You're not for me.
I never thought I'd be so weak. But now we whispering this beat. While I was shaking like a leaf. Never getting no relief. Inside out. Upside down. Wanna get a little closer to control inside. Wanna be on the milk and not guilty. Wanna get a little closer to control inside. Wanna be on the milk and not guilty. They're always playing as a surprise. Shattering starry eyes. Whispering to me. Let's drive a stake into the heart. Inside out. Upside down. We wanna get a little closer to control inside. Wanna be on the mouth and not guilty. We wanna get a little closer to control.
Hello, my friends! Hey, welcome! And hello, and welcome to Live with Lava Sub. I am Lava Sub. You can call me Weston. I am a few minutes late today because I have been trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing pretty much all morning. That's both in regards to my life and also into what I'm doing today for today's program. We decided Saturday, I decided it was a good idea. Saturday I was watching the Ink Master. If you're watching the program, you already know this story, but for all of those, anyway, I'm just saying, we were watching Ink Master, and they had to do recreations of famous artworks, and it got me going. I've done it a couple of times in the past, and it's time to do it again. It's been a while, and there's so many artists that I've been inspired by over the years that I didn't know where to go, you know? I mean, I didn't know exactly who to try and choose. I mentioned on Saturday stream that I have tried to do Caravaggio, I've tried to do William Blake. Those were years ago before I got really good at this, so I thought maybe I would end up doing like that, or a Goya, or maybe even like a Rosetta, or something of that nature. I really love, like, yeah, I like fantasy, man. I like crazy, weird art. Thought about doing Bosch, thought about doing Francis Bacon, but what I realized was, you know, all of that stuff's great and everything. I would love to do one of those. I don't know if I could even get through one on a stream. It would take hours and hours and hours and hours, maybe days, to actually get through one. So I got to thinking about I was going through all of the different artists that I explained Saturday. I used to work at a Toyota service department, and when I was supposed to be working there, I would often not want to do that. I was just really depressed and hated working there, hated the people I was working with for the most part, and would oftentimes just kind of let my mind wander. And at that point, I started getting back into art and drawing. I mean, ultimately, it's a way to cope with my situation, many-tiered, multi-layered kind of shit that I was going through, and that led me to doing my own, like, kind of art history study, that I was just going through the Wikipedia pages of different movements, finding different artists that I really loved, and I grew more and more interested in painting. And that's really, I met Katie around this, Kat around the same period of my life, and their work was just so fascinating to me, the way that they worked as an artist, that this was just such a creatively prolific time of my life. I was doing all kinds of different paintings and feeling my way through all kinds of different feelings, and yeah, I found, you know, different art movements that I was really attracted to, like Dada and kind of modern art from the US. I have, like, different movements and waves of art, the Hudson School. I mean, oh man, different artists like the people I mentioned earlier, Goya to Francis Bacon to Kurt Schwitters to Luigi Russolo, all of these artists from all over the world, all of these different movements and feelings and ways of expressing a thought, a feeling, a moment, and were just so inspiring to me. And it wasn't until years later, much longer after I had stopped working at that service department, would be working in probably one kitchen or another at this point, when I rediscovered my love for Disney, especially classic Disney films. I know that if you've been watching any period of time, you know me at all, you know that I'm not, you know, always going to be singing the praises of the Mouse Company, but there were a few artists that came through with that, the House of Mouse, that are ultimately some of the most inspiring artists to me, and I feel like some of the most influential artists of all time, period. Primarily Ivan Durrell and Mary Blair. And those two artists both have fascinating stories. We're just infinitely creative and curious people that I think have, we almost forget how important those artists are to the visual language of not just cartoons, but media in general. You think about Mary Blair's work, and it's almost Americana. It's ubiquitous to our culture, to so much of the work that we have put out and has come out since. Her work in movies like, going I think as far back as Bambi, maybe even earlier than that. I can't remember if Alice was before Bambi, but I'm pretty sure Bambi was like one of the first 5 movies that Disney made. All the way to Sleeping Beauty, which is probably my all-time favorite movie, animated film. I think it's one of, it's beyond that. I think it's one of the greatest works of art of all time. Sleeping Beauty almost bankrupted Disney, brought together the talents, a kind of pool of talent, the likes of which has probably rarely, if ever, been seen on the planet, all to work on one specific thing, guided by Ivan Durrell, whose life led him to that moment to be able to really dig into the direction of this film, putting everything he had in him. Ivan Durrell has a really interesting story. I think the more you know about it, the more it contributes to the interpretation of what we can take away from Sleeping Beauty, the emotion of it, the passion that went into it. Sleeping Beauty is just, it's incredible. So that's where I landed, was on Mary Blair. Mary Blair worked for Disney for a number of years. Like I was saying, was involved in any number of their earlier animated productions, not just the features, but also the shorts. Her work on, which one's not the Looney Tunes? It's like, there was Merry Melodies, and then there was the Disney one. They both had like heavy use of music, and would integrate that into the stories that they were telling. That's where, like, the Merry Melodies is where you have the Bugs Bunny as a conductor and all of that stuff. The use of the ring, the Ride of the Valkyries, which is just so so common a musical trope to use now. But really, a lot of that comes back to Bugs Bunny. But let me just remember what the fuck this was called. So interesting. Okay, it's not coming up immediately, the animation program that I'm thinking of. So, in the name of entertainment, I'm going to move on. But, ultimately, Mary Blair's work is Disney, is what I'm getting at here. So much of her concept art is so clear a vision that almost it couldn't be made into the animated film. It had to be in the realm of concept art. But I think in most cases, her concept art makes all of the aesthetics of the aesthetic principles that we would grow and we would learn to kind of associate with Disney all kind of come from her. Fantasia is a really great example. Fantasia is a fantastic example, especially because if I'm not mistaken, her and Ivan Earl both worked on that film as well, and it predates Sleeping Beauty. Anyway, yeah, lots of really beautiful stuff came out of her mind, and I think this is, I'm going to do my best to try and recreate some of her work today. Let me get into it. So, you'll see some very familiar looking characters here. Shout out to Kaz Rowe, man. I don't know if you watch Kaz Rowe's video essays, but really gave me a fully new appreciation for Peter Pan. Kind of like Peter Pan's obviously a fairly controversial piece of Disney's work, from its depictions of indigenous Americans to the kind of overt misogyny within the story, to the kind of Peter Pan complexes that we talk about now, where young men especially refuse in many ways to grow up, and that being their own kind of like sociological poison. But Kaz Rowe recontextualized, that's the word I was looking for, recontextualized Pan for me. And not just from the Disney perspective, but from the perspective of J.M. Barrie and the many, many lesbian women that played Peter Pan over the course of its theatrical or theater run, long before it was ever made into an animated film by the Walt Disney Company. Really fascinating stuff. Definitely go check out Kaz Rowe's video on Peter Pan. It's one of my favorite video essays of the last year. This is just such a fucking interesting piece, though. Like, I'm just want to draw your attention to it. Just soak in this image. You notice, like, how flat a lot of these colors are, especially where the figures are, but how much life is brought to it by using the different, essentially, layers of paint. Using color theory to make all of these greens stand out on their own and define this picture, define shadows, define silhouettes. Like, I think just this top vertical line here is really interesting. How it intercepts the moon, and all of this green you're getting over here doesn't translate back here. It's almost this flat line, and it's not without a purpose. You notice how it helps you, that clear area of black really helps you kind of develop your sense of like understanding of this composition. And the kind of orangey yellow in Hook's what would you call that? Petticoat? Is that the wrong word completely? I don't know what you would call this coat, his long coat that he's wearing. Frock coat? Thank you. Sam, the costumer, knows. Yeah, this frock coat, and how it's trimmed with this gold that, like, really, it's an interesting tone. Using purple to contrast against all of that green, as well as the red. It's a very smart, well thought out image. And yeah, I'm going to try and recreate this digitally today. And I probably could have spent a little more time finding a higher resolution version of this image, but, you know, I don't think I'm too worried about it. I really love this image.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh no, oh yeah, oh oh.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, oh, oh.
It's my interpretation. And I love how the moon kind of bends here. Isn't that lovely? Like, it's just, it's the cross section of that mast. Kind of like almost defining its shape, right? Helping us see it as round. It's just such a cool image, dude. And this is Mary Blair, you know, maybe at some of her finest. Really interesting lady. I gotta say. Yeah, Peter Pan was 53, so this is actually towards the end of her career at Disney. Anyway, I'm just thinking about how to lay out the color in this thing. I think we want to start with the black background. I'm going to actually just pull this black right out here. Let's see. Yeah. Perfect. It's not quite perfect black. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's got that tinge of green to it. But yeah, it's not the deepest, darkest version of black it could be. We're gonna work up from here. Just so interesting. Yeah, it is going to be a huge pain in the ass now that I think about it. The longer I look at it, the more I'm like, damn, this has 1 jillion hues of green in it. What were you thinking, Weston? That's good. I'm just lost in this piece right now. Okay, I wanted to say Mary Blair, interesting lady. Her first job actually wasn't with Disney. She actually started in the film industry with MGM. Eventually getting into a Iworks studio, which I think is where she either met Disney or it might not have been, but that's where she ended up. That was her next gig, was working for Disney. Went from MGM to Iworks to Disney, which very curious. If you know any of that whole drama, you know that Disney also worked for Iworks, and Iworks has had accused Disney of essentially stealing from him with the characters that he would later go on to use in his shorts that would make him in his studio so much money. Yeah, it's a fascinating story. Definitely look into it if you've never heard it before. Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna do all this moon, this color green. Then I'm gonna go back over the top of it. I want to try and create the blending effect that she's achieving here. Just looking at this, like, what was she even using for this shit? Is this oil? No idea how she achieves a lot of these colors. Anyway, so Mary Blair ended up working with Disney, and with Disney created a lot of its like signature films that they're still remaking today. You know, Dumbo, and I guess Dumbo would have been Fantasia was, I think, her first Disney project. Going to work for them until Lady and the Tramp. So from 40 to 55, she was working for Disney. Made a lot of really interesting stuff in the process, and not just animation as well. She's also responsible for the design of It's a Small World as well. So, like, she is one of those artists that ought to be a household name. Everybody knows Small World. Everybody knows Peter Pan. Everyone knows Fantasia. The visual language she created for Disney is still in use today in some of their releases. To mention not to mention the fact that Small World is still one of the big attractions at Disneyland, Disney World. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that Disney wouldn't be, half the powerhouse, half of the influential company that it is today without Mary Blair. Can you imagine being a woman in the 30s and 40s working for Disney? I don't know if you know all those stories, but there's a lot of where Disney was not exactly a great place for you if you were a woman or no, you're right. Absolutely right. Just any woman at that period of time. Absolutely, yeah. What? What is that? What is a menu person? Oh, that's weird. Just like, like the creative decision to just leave this part as a highlight, it's just infinitely fascinating to me. I wish she was still around so I could pick her brain. She seems like a really rad lady. Of course, worked on a lot of like the maligned projects that we know Disney for, as well as a lot of the good ones. I mean, we're looking at Peter Pan, and we already kind of talked about the issues with that movie. But, I mean, Song of the South is another one that she was a part of, which, yikes. Yeah, I think if I would like to refer, I just would like to refer back to my earlier statement. Can you imagine being a woman working for Disney in the 30s and 40s and 50s? You know, I mean, it's not like things improved much in that time period. So yeah, it reminds me of her cause of death, which was acute alcoholism relating to a cerebral hemorrhage. So that might give you an idea of the kind of stress and kind of things that she would have had to repress to survive and live in the world the way that she chose to live. Yeah. It's heavy stuff. It's just so cool. Yeah, I think I do these, you know, I don't do these very often lately, but they're always really fascinating to me, just kind of, especially doing them digitally and trying to kind of basically recreate them one for one. I mean, it's kind of impossible for me to do that anyway. I don't have the schooling for it, but it's cool because you get to kind of see how they were making a lot of this stuff, which again, I never learned how to do in any kind of professional capacity. Art is just something that I love doing, so I do it. And these kinds of experiences are very important, like learning experiences for me. All that considered.
What do you do when you don't know who you are? Where do you go when you got your head in the stars?
Oh, yeah, Sam's asking if I ever try and do, like, draw along with Drawfee stuff, and yeah, actually, it might not be in, like, a readily available file for you, Sam, but we have, one of my first digital pieces was inspired in exactly that fashion. I think it was Drawfee's, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, but Drawfee did like a background speed draw, you know, and I think Nathan did like it was like, he drew Steven Universe in a Dragon Ball Z style, or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe I'm reversing those. Maybe he did Dragon Ball Z in a Steven Universe style. Yeah, and Jacob's drawing was There was like some big tower or something like that. And I just started cooking. My brain just, no, you know what? This wasn't that long ago. This was one of the first pieces I did, one of the first digital pieces I did when I moved to Los Angeles. That's how this all came about, yeah. So I'd done quite a few pieces at that point digitally. But yeah, I was really still just getting my feet wet in it. And I did, based on, while I was drawing along with them, I remembered I had this image that Kat had taken, or I had taken. Kat was processing strawberries for us to freeze them for smoothies later, and found this one strawberry that looked like it had a nose on it. Like it was this big kind of protrusion out the side where it typically would be smooth. And I just thought this was a really interesting shape. Obviously, we were doing the whole pareidolia thing, saw a face in it, and I knew I was gonna probably want to draw that. So while they were doing that draw, I ended up grabbing that photo and kind of using some of the lesson that Jacob, or some of the stuff that Jacob was talking about from that background drawing. I made one of my favorite pieces of digital art I've ever done, which is the Sir Strawbird the Delicious. I don't actually remember what the honorific I gave him was, but Sir Strawbird is this strawberry knight that is definitely just one of my favorite pieces I've ever done digitally. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's I used the face of that strawberry that I saw, and a couple of, like, I think I clip arted some images of some armor in, and messed around with it until they fit. And then I drew this strawberry knight in this crazy background, kind of inspired by Jacob, but also inspired by, curiously enough, Ivan Earl, who had who had one of the most distinctive styles in all of, like, history. I mean, really, truly, honestly. Not many people paint like Ivan Earl, but it's all based in, like, proper technique and color theory and stuff like that. I remember watching some of the behind the scenes for Sleeping Beauty, and one of the animators, the junior animators working on that project, talked about how he would walk into Ivan Earl's office sometimes, just stacks and stacks and stacks of work that he was either reviewing or working on. Said that Ivan Earl touched every frame in Sleeping Beauty, which in animation, is insane to think about, especially feature-length film, animated film. Exactly. So 24 frame per second, and this is like an hour and a half fucking movie. Do the math, because I don't know how to. But anyway, so this animator was talking about Ivan Earl stacks of his work, and talked about, like, when you watch him work, it was always like this, like, even on the animation, like, frames, I can remember what the, like, transparencies or whatever, right? He would start, like, the way that you would start as a painter doing canvas, working backwards, like he was a painter, and would always essentially do, like, he had a way of layering color that kind of goes back to that technical experience. So he would start with, like, the brightest colors and work his way down to the darkest ones, just on one layer, just working fastidiously, somehow not even really able to see what he was doing, but knowing how to do it so well that you look at the backgrounds on Sleeping Beauty now, and you can see all of that technical know-how and inspiration and creativity that was just coursing through that man's veins. Yeah. I think about that shit a lot. My God. It's just so cool! Like, what's really interesting that I keep noticing is this shape along the bottom here. That's the sail, right? But its edges are transparent. So, like most of this piece, you can see how Mary Blair, like you can see her color layering kind of at work. You know that this pan figure was probably like the top half of it, obviously, is done underneath the layer of the crescent moon that goes over top of him, creating this silhouette, right? Which is like it's fucking difficult, I guess, is shorthand what I'm trying to say here. It's really difficult to even think about, like, keeping the proportions as clean as she does, the lines as clean. All of this stuff is just so, you know, it takes a lot of like mental gymnastics, extrapolation from your creative mind to the canvas, and I think it's endlessly fascinating to think about. But the sail could have been done in some kind of very light, maybe watercolor. She was well known for her watercolor work, lauded for her watercolor work. So it's totally possible it could be like a really light wash layer that she's using to draw into the piece. Maybe darkening it up here, down here in the corner. But it's really fascinating how the curve of that sail kind of almost aligns with the curve of the moon, creating this almost like Nike swoosh, right? In the space in between them. Just really beautiful touch. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, just gonna keep doing this, all the colors in this moon. So now we're getting into some of the figures. Part of the figures. That's crazy. I would love to see this piece in real life. Sure, I would be able to gain even more from that experience than I have looking over her work. Just because I'd be really able to even more easily see all of the different layers of this piece. I think I was talking about my partner, and this is something I really envy. You know, I have a pretty creative mind. I'm able to kind of like put stuff together that I like and make it look the way I like it. And I'm confident in my abilities and all that, right? But I know that there are certain things that technically I'm just not very strong at, especially in physical mediums. What's really fascinating is when you see that level of creativity with all of this ability for technique. Knowing how to simplify these complex shapes, the visual shorthand that you develop through years and years and years of study. Like, I like to throw paint at shit, man. That's what my skill set is. I think it's obvious. I obviously think it's valid. I would probably do something else in my life. But I am always impressed. Like, this hand, dude. I am always impressed by, like, people who are able to bridge that gap and be incredibly creative at the same time as they're able to be incredibly technically skilled. Couldn't be me. I hate that. I'm gonna just go back and start over. I think I might... I want to use this brush. But it's not helping the line work. And like, that's one of the really distinctive things here, is how clean all of this, all these lines are. One of the real defining features of her work. These sharp angles, and like I was saying, you know, just that bridge between creativity and technique, skill. Anyway, let's find a new brush. No, that's worse. Jesus. Okay, I think this will work. Really not loving that either. I mean, part of the problem is just my canvas size. Image, I don't think is a very large one. So even my smallest brushes are gonna be in a pain in the ass right now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to use this little anchor that I didn't really want to use because I was trying to get a real painterly feel out of this. But it's the only thing that draws a crispy line. This small. Where did I put my partner reminded me I have the little rubber tipped stylus to do art on my phone with. I forget I have them. So I've been trying to use that lately. It's really helpful on that mission piece. And for my buddy Jelena. Like, it's not transparent, but it's a little easier to see what I'm doing than it is working with my finger alone. The only thing is, only issue with it really is that sometimes it doesn't connect to the surface right away. So like sometimes the very beginning of a line just doesn't happen. But definitely makes my life a little easier. Yeah, it makes me happy. I mean, don't hold your breath, because I want you to be comfortable and breathe and stuff. But I keep questioning my abilities here because I'm like, I'm not talking while I'm drawing. I'm not entertaining enough. I should give up and go back to you not doing this anymore. Recognize my failure as a Twitch streamer. But no, I evidently am making motherfuckers. But if you're holding your breath, that means I'm doing something right. Alright. That's... Oh, I forgot to draw the hand. Oopsie. Damn. This is so cool. I love this hand. It's gonna take me a second to get this right. Yeah, I did it probably a little better with the paint. Just increase ever so slightly. Sorry, I forgot to turn off Do Not Disturb before I got on stream today. So you're all gonna get to see my notifications. I don't think you could actually dox me. I was gonna say don't dox me, but I don't think that's how that works. I don't know anything about computers, so either way, just don't do that, because that's cringe. You'll be a little freaky weirdo. I'll make fun of you on the internet. Here's my skill set. There we go. That look kind of right. Fill some stuff in now. Can you just use the fill tool? Or because I'm going over layers of paint won't work? Hey! Oh, didn't work. Okay. Almost worked. Might have just been that one. Let's find out. That was it? Okay. Marvelous. Looking at this though, comparing it, you can see all these little like right, yeah, thank you, underdrawing, like the where the paint just slightly kind of changes its hue just minutely across the figures, across these different colors of green. And yeah, Sam pointing out, I think very correctly, that that's happening because of the underdrawing. Okay. The real question is, how am I going to get that transparency? I talked about it a lot earlier. Like, potentially her doing watercolor or something like that. It's such a flat, like, especially coming across in the digital, you know, screenshot that I got off of Google Images. Like, it's not 100% clear how consistent that level of translucence is in the paint, in the watercolor, I'm assuming. But in this image, it is fucking crispy fucking clean. I think it's helped by the fact that it's going on top of dark color. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just do that last. In a, like, reduced opacity layer. Next, I want to do this, this real dark color here. The mast, the crow's nest, the ropes, all that stuff. Oh man, that's fascinating. Okay. That's so cool. Okay. I'm just like looking at the different like, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like this was a kind of a process, this top corner here. Because obviously she wants these, you know, the crow's nest to stand out, every panel of wood, all of that defined, right? So this black splotch up in the top corner is more than likely, I mean, is almost certainly this same color. I think where I'm gonna have to make some guesses is what order was it completed in? Because I want to say it probably went, you know, the dark green black layer, and then probably some of these streaky greens, not the moon obviously, but like these streaky greens kind of in the back behind them, so that when we get to the figures, that's all covered. You don't have to go try and, like, I don't know if you've ever tried to, like, do that process of like, oh, I've drawn 2 figures on a white piece of paper, now I have to color in the background, and you're like going around them, like trying to, you know, every little, you know, trying to mimic brush strokes around them so that it feels like a completed piece, but oftentimes it just looks like a Sharpie, you know. So in the process of learning, you go, okay, so yeah, I want to do this background, I'm going to throw on all these vertical or these horizontal brush strokes, and we'll leave them nice and chunky, let the background, probably which is probably wet, blend with these colors as I pull them through the canvas. But if I was trying to guess how this was made, I would assume that was the next layer, and then the mast went in. And I think that there was probably a lot more of this dark green right around this top area in here, and may have been a frustrating area, or like an area maybe you had to go in more times, she had to go into more times than she anticipated. It almost looks like she did the mast, realized that it was too matchy-matchy to the background, especially as it goes from kind of a lighter or a darker green to a little bit lighter up here, and then had to go and cover the parts of the mask she had already worked on to add in more of these horizontal streaks of green, pull them farther over to this corner before she went back in to these masked sections to define them. So, and that's what I think. And then to maybe cover some of that brushwork up, that's where we get some of these misty, wispy parts of the painting going over the crow's nest, which would have been intentional, but also like, yeah, it's really an interesting kind of like, that's my theory on how, that's my theory on this deconstruction. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm wrong. I don't think I want to do the mask yet. I think, in keeping with how I believe Mary Blair created the piece, I think that's my next step. It's not that I think she did the moon first, obviously I think she did the moon last. But I want to try and tackle this background before I get too deep into the rest of it. Because we can tell a lot of her brush strokes are almost helping to define the rest of that composition. God. You know what's so weird is they do look kind of digital. It's obviously, at least in part, how the how my computer is interpreting the data or whatever, my phone. But I don't think... Yeah, it's definitely the aliens, is why. But yeah, it's really interesting. It does look like it's digital in a way. It actually makes me think, like, you know, I wonder what a lot of, like, you know, the most, like, the famous painters of history would think of digital art, like how they would be utilizing it. Y'all ever heard of Beksinski? I don't remember his first name, but he was like a surrealist from Poland. Did a lot of really interesting work that, you know, you can see a lot of inspiration here and there in his stuff from all kinds of different movements of art. He was kind of there's not many painters, especially of his era, that are anything like him. Actually died in 2005 in his apartment in Poland. Was stabbed to death by his, like, manager or art assistant, the kid, who tried to get him to loan, tried to get Basinski to loan him like $100 in Poland's currency at the time, which I don't remember what it was called, but he didn't do it. He didn't give him the money, so the kid just stabbed him. Yeah, but interesting guy. At 2005 is when he died. Towards the end of his life, that was like, I think this was even in the 80s. He got really into the early processes of digital art and photo manipulation. I just think that's a really, yeah. Part of why I'm very curious to see what, like, artists like Mary Blair would have done with digital art. Alright, so I'm gonna have to go back to my brushies. I'm gonna try and see what size. What am I doing? There we go. Try and get it to translate here. Okay. It's about right. Find more of that mid-tone. Then I'm gonna do one of my favorite things to do. I'm gonna use our weird little color picker. And just see what happens. I think that might be too small. Yeah. I need to thicken that up. That's more like it. Okay. Kill the strength on that a little bit. Oh, I'm in the reference layer. I knew there was something wrong. It's not. It's part of the magic of Live with Lava Sub is me drawing on my reference image every single time. Yep.
Cry baby, I don't got time, maybe you should try to lie to me. Say you don't like me, that way we might finally have similarities. Pretend you don't care for me.
That's pretty interesting.
I know you don't dare spend your time with anyone.
Not a little life in it though, it's real straight. What? Damn. There's just so much to this. Okay, it's a good start. That's all I know. Let's go a little more directly in here. I'm gonna try and keep in line with a lot of the aesthetic principles here. Yeah, needs to be more pan, less straight. It's just so interesting. Oh, good joke though, Sam. I liked it. Good job. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Sam came with that one on the fly, dude. Got me doing the Shao Kahn impressive. Yeah, it's a little less. Yeah, it's like got a little more life to it here. Not so boring. Alright, well I think one of the important lessons of this stream is that I'm not good at focusing on something this complicated and talking at the same time. We'll use this lesson in the future. It's fine for now. Let's throw some stars on a new layer. Those are just like almost pure white, aren't they? Almost. It might be actually, I don't know. They're so small it's hard to tell. Let's pull color right out of it. I'm gonna actually just cheat a little bit because that said 83, but I think it's closer to 90. And let's go back to my consistency pen. You know, it could have totally been a thing where it is pure white, but it's being mixed into this paint, possibly while still wet. And that's what's giving it that other hue. Maybe I'll throw this underneath the layers that I did for the sky, and then it'll kind of have the same effect, because this is a super, like it's very opaque, this brush I'm using, or this pen I'm using. Oh my god, I just realized I'm like gripping my phone with all of my strength in my hand, and my hand is starting to cramp. Tension check. Everybody, if you're holding tension in any part of your body, shake it out, take a deep breath, and release that tension. I think I got most of them. Little star beams in there. Okay, I think that's it. That looks about right. You know, I don't think I even need to do that thing I was talking about earlier. With the, putting the stars underneath the layers. They're already kind of taking color in just by being next to colors. That's good. Let's just leave it like this. We're gonna go above the stars now. And now we get to start working on that masked portion. Let's see. Am I on my fresh layer? Did I start 2 fresh layers? No, one's the star layer. Okay. They're so fucking similar, that's insane. How? Fucking how? That's what I want to know. I guess, yeah, it's underneath Captain and probably Peter as well, underneath the moon, all that dark bluish green. Because they're so similar in tone, it's more than likely You know, I hadn't thought about this before. It's totally possible this was like at least the kind of squared off chunky parts. They could be taped. So that could be the black canvas that she started with. I hadn't really thought about that. It's totally possible, though. Yeah. Just simple masking. Either way, doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters to people, but it's not important to this moment, right this second. Because we're not doing that in this piece. Oh, you know what I could do? I can cheat. I'm gonna cheat. I like cheating. I'm a cheating fiend. Call me Chester Cheetah. I want this line to be fucking straight. Her line here is so fucking straight. Oh! My phone case is breaking. PayPal links are in the chat. My phone case is broken, so I keep dropping my phone. Or rather, my phone just keeps sliding out of my case while I'm drawing. It's one of the leading causes of my current leading causes of my insanity. That story is much longer. The full story. We're not getting into that today. Or maybe ever on this program. I've revealed enough to you, ungrateful fucking bastards. Just playing. Today? Man, sorry you didn't know. Could've asked Zach, he would've told you. Sam says today's the day we find out I'm a diva. And I'm shocked that no one has accused me of this already. Because I very clearly am. Yeah, you know, he does calisthenics, I'm pretty sure is constantly doing, he's, you know, P90Xer. He's a CrossFit guy, you know? Old Captain Hook, he's really into that stuff. Alright, well, before my head explodes, I'm gonna have to pee, so let's take a quick break. I'll be right back.
I notice what we crave, a blinking weightless gray rest assured you won't be heard out there. Rocket to your eternal sleep. In this dark there is no sound. Don't you know this is no good? Floating too tired style. It takes a while. You can pay for peaceful resting. Unaware, just wish you know it's there. In this dark there is no sound.
All right, y'all. So I on the break during the break, I realized that image that I was doing was minuscule. Part of the reason I was having I mentioned in the last couple hours that I was really having trouble trying to get my brushes small enough to make it work. So I hated that. I love that image. I'm glad we got to talk about Mary Blair a little bit, Ivan Durrell, some of the stuff we talked about. I'm glad we did all of that, but I'm doing something just totally different. I wasn't super happy with it, and I was never going to be, because it's just too small. It was never going to look good once it was out of the drawing app. It was going to look grainy and pixelated, and that sounds bad for everyone. Like, we're talking lower than 720, like, kind of definition here. So that it would have looked bad, and I don't want that out of my life. I don't want to spend time doing stuff I'm not going to be happy with. Yeah, it felt weird. So we're gonna just take our time doing something completely different. Yeah. Got this new canvas, a fresh canvas up. I was talking about. We were talking about Trophy earlier, and that got me thinking, like, there's a lot that I really like about that program. I think people are obviously really interesting. Fun personalities that are fun to listen to, talk about art, and make art, and Mel Biba. Yeah, and we were talking about just inspiration, where it comes from, and like who inspires us. Rocky is definitely up there for me. I was thinking about that image of Sir Strawberry. I want to try and do something like that. So we're gonna get Trixie. First, tired of looking at this white canvas. Let's see if I can do this all in one. We're gonna use some brushes. Yeah, you know what? Let's go back. Sure, it's a white. That's where we're starting. We're not gonna keep it that way. Yeah, this is a good start. Okay. So I just wanted to throw some shapes in here. Give us something to build on. Create something that's going to be like a light source for me. Like I'm already seeing kind of what I want out of this. Let's... into it. The settings of these brushes. Yeah.
every second, and I know you're trying. Oh, and doesn't love enlighten me? Spending your money on a lie. Please look in the mirror, girl. Please see the child I see. I tried to protect you once, many years before. She left me, babe, dead on the floor. Yeah, I see Daddy walking.
Oh jeez, I'm still having trouble actually talking. Do we have music going for the folks watching, Sam? Okay, good. Mad shout out to Suplex and Redwood and Moonsick and Laguna Screech and Secret Fire and... oh shit, am I missing one? Gender Trash. I think that's all of them. Oh god. No shout out to Boilermaker. No, I'm playing. Definitely some of the best times I've ever had. Playing with my buddies. What is happening? There we go. Good idea. Let's make this interesting, shall we? I'm pulling up my symmetry tool. Thing I don't do on stream super often. Oops, don't want that. I don't know what that is, but I'm liking it. Let's do something. That shit there. Alright, I'm taking my phone out of the case. Oh man. Oh. She's lagging. Block, okay. Not mad at this. Grabbing a new brush. My new favorites. The one I used on that piece I did for my buddy Jelena. It's a really big house. Excuse me. Oh God. Technical difficulties. Something really dry looking for this. Yeah. Oh.
Staring through the blazing heat as armor tanks roll down the street, skipping stones lost through the cracks, just like that. Waiting on the shooting star as families rush into their cars. You were sitting at the bar, just like that. Staring through the blazing heat as armor tanks roll down the street, skipping stones lost through the cracks, just like that. Waiting on the shooting star as families rush into their cars. You were sitting at the bar, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Crashing bombs, exploding, said I feel the grid inside your hands. My ears are ringing, I'm singing, I like this now one bit. Crashing bombs, exploding, said I feel the grid inside your hands. My ears are ringing, I'm singing, la 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 la. Staring through the blazing heat as armor tanks roll down the street, skipping stones lost through the cracks. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that.
Sometimes I try too hard to break down these walls that surround me and keep me compound. I do not like the way these walls look at me. They refuse to stop staring, watching me bleed from my eyes and my chest, more specific my heart, like I was cut by the girl who finally got smart. Well, I'm just a lazy, damn dirty old dog who can't find a way to just get along. Well, someday these walls will descend upon me, and I'm sure you will find me in the rubble beneath. And some of a smiling, some stricken with grief, but somehow I know when I go it will be a relief. Well, just so you know, I'm beginning to mend. I know you won't notice the light I tell, and I do not like the stains left of myself. Look over at you, now bubble for hell, but you have been deaf since you were 16, since you got attention for being real mean, and you do not like the traces left of yourself. That man is out on and left on your shelf. You're having it alone down a thief, and just so you know, when you go, we'll be a relief. Well, you scrape my knee and bend, and I'ma break all of you. Break my heart and bend, and I'ma take all that I know you better. You know me every day, like you got someday. Ain't on me. I waited and baited and landed some hooks, and I ain't no angler, but I've written some books about tragedy and heartbreak in the rock clubs. They ain't me well written if I can find the right drugs. But my music run from me, so I ride with my blood, and I hope it is something you will love. But one day I'll run out of juice and ask for love be made in the boat, so I can keep running farther from home. Me and my sister, yes, me and my clone. And one day we gon' find us some teeth and we'll get 'em out. You know it'll be a relief. Well, you scrape my knee, you can bear, and I'ma break all that you. Break my heart, you can bear, and I'ma take all that I know you better. You know me and every day, like you got something.
All right.
Boy,
Something.
oh. It's dark and I'm hungry. I'm tired and it's cold. And I am no man who does easily fold. Yes, I've been to hell and I've seen Satan's face, and it looked into me that he's saving me a blade. And out of his face, his lasting, out of the life, lasting the pain, and they was all kind of orderly. And now that they're gone, they're back with me. Some peace.
In the head, you lose your grip on this world instead. Tourniquet, wrapped in shame. Win or lose, you would choose the same. Turn a new page. The horizon can contain all my rage. Try as
Oh, that's not over.
it's crystallized and poison inside.
I fake a feeling, I just keep dealing. Ain't nothing to it, another view.
What's in the head? You around your wrist light of hand and traps you. When that strikes fine, the last strike's hot across your face. Fight the world that puts you in your place.
Got was poison leaves. Now you're shaking like you was born in the ground. I told you about how I want this whole world, and that's why you'll never have kids. And this place ain't no place for people like me. Yeah, these people can never be free. And I'm being screamed at from every direction at once. These people can't wait no turn. They chew on their cud and spit it out on the street. If all will die, motherfucker, read the sign. Yeah. I'm no B-man, I'm no B-man. Get better every day. I'm no B-man, I'm no B-man. I get better every day. I'm no B-man, I'm no B-man, no. I get better every day. I'm no B-man, I'm no B-man, no.
No. That was Scott. Yeah.
My whip sings the word of God, and when the lights lay low and the lions take sleep, the bars will sing songs of my noble feet.
Yeah. No, I think that would be a lot of fun.
I'd say it's hard to be human, but I know I can. I know I can. And you might say that
It was pretty fucking good though, wasn't it?
don't you quit, and I won't quit. And you might say it's so dark in hell, but never fear.
Oh, Bixby, I'm never going to use you. I wish you would get it out of your head. It's Galaxy's Alexis, essentially. Yeah, I wish I was tech savvy enough to know how to do that. That's reality. For I never was able to figure it out. I looked it up and I was like, yeah, it's too hard. I'm not doing that. I just won't use it.
Honeybees never sounded so sweet. No, they didn't. Not in a million fucking years. I'm no B-man, I'm no B-man. I get better every day.
Pretty interesting.
B-man, I'm no
Let's want some more text to your.
every day. I'm no B-man, I'm no B-man, no. I get better all every day. I'm no B-man, I'm no B-man, no. I get better every goddamn single motherfucking day. Oh yeah. Just the right size, and you're just the right kind. Need to fit inside you. Need a parasite you. I want your blood. I want an internal hug. I want your eyes. You need my mind. I wanna be your body snatcher. Parasite. Be your body snatcher. Parasite. Be your body snatcher. Parasite. Be your body snatcher. I'll come inside your body, our union holy. I will complete you. I want to meet you, yeah, and see the end of human beings. Like in 1958 on my atomic snake. I wanna be your body snatcher. Parasite, you be your body snatcher. Parasite, you be your body snatcher. Parasite, you be your body snatcher. Parasite, you. Feel crying deep inside me. Last chance, I will replace you. Revolution creates a revolution. Someday we are here to claim you. Feel crying deep inside me. Last chance, I will replace you. So evolution creates a revolution. Someday we are here to claim you. Feel crying deep inside me. Last chance, I will replace you. Top of evolution creates a revolution.
something. So, I kept all of that on one layer. Blending some stuff, leaving stuff just on the top, adding texture here and there. I think I wanna, let's see what happens when we mess with the background color. Oh, okay. That's worth saving. So that's my freshie. Let's go back to this one. Go real big. Okay. Oh, the blue is nice. Thank you. Oh, the green is kind of crazy too. All that really matters is I'm pretty stoked about this. Oh, totally. I'm loving the pink. I'm gonna go back to pink. I think that's the way it goes. Yep. That works. Do another one. I got an hour. Oh, right. Okay, that's why I wanted to fill that. Instead of just leave it as the background generally. What? Do I merge? Fuck it, let's merge. Okay. Goes away. Is this something? Yeah. Always both. Always both. It really does beg the question, what the hell is it though? I don't know. I'm sorry for that, but I do not. Good point.
Each day my legs grow sore and weak. Something special in the way you breathe. Inhale all of my smoke signals. Hold it in with these. Some sadness, some homesick feeling. As you tell me it's just my insecurities. Push me down,
That's the thing now. Okay. We're done with that.
but I retaliate inwards.
I stretch. I look over, I see my roommate's cat, and he stretches too. Talk about a comrade. Okay. I did one vertical. I did one horizontal. Do another that way. I like that. Do something like that. Let's start off. Yeah, okay. I have an idea. Lagging. Oh no, don't crash. Don't crash. I believe in you! Artex! Please! Sorry. Hey! There we go. I just had to move it. Yeah, you're a big Neverending Story fan, aren't you? We talked about this a while ago, right? Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Yeah. Still gotta read that. It's on my bookshelf. Right? Yeah. You heard it here first. Sam's working on a remake of Neverending Story. We're gonna have that first draft to... No, but honestly, they try to do so many sequels that were so mediocre. It would be really cool to see it done, like, with an amount of, like, care that... Like, things like the reboot for, like, Dark Crystal. I didn't like the Dark Crystal. It creeps me out. I think the Gelflings are fucking... Yeah, just creepy. I can't get my head around it. However, the reboot that they did on Netflix like a year or two ago, kind of incredible. I really enjoyed it. Kat got me into it, and we watched the whole fucking thing. Totally.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
And I would say that it's like, you know, it's not undeserving of something like that. It definitely is a story that has inspired, like, a generation of artists and weirdos and people who reference Neverending Story. And, you know, I've always enjoyed it. And, yeah, I would love to see more Neverending Story. Yeah. Yeah. And now they'll kill you for a drag queen story hour. Boy, how times change. Although I guess that stays pretty consistent throughout American history. Yeah, I'm definitely an advocate of that confrontation in a big way. You know, to your safety. You know, I don't want anyone getting hurt needlessly. But tell you what, I'm pretty tired of not doing anything. So that's just where I'm at. I'm not saying that. Sorry, I'm not saying that there's not plenty of incredibly valid and great kinds of activism that are currently all over the place. There definitely are, and I definitely adore that shit. But yeah, I don't know. Breaks my heart to think that we think that voting is going to change anything. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't vote either, but I'm saying there are drastic times, and during those drastic times, it is sometimes necessary to make drastic measures. And yeah, that's what I'd like to see in the world. Yeah, I mean, I can respect that, but you know, I also see like how in so many ways, I feel like we're kind of out of time for methods of that nature, where it's just like, I would love, I'm a fairly passive person, you know. I want things to, I want the best outcomes for most people. I don't think that we should have to go through any kinds of difficult and potentially quite painful, harmful versions of activism to get what we deserve, what we demand, to get our needs met, to get our neighbors' needs met. But the situation we're currently in, we have so many of those friends, those comrades of ours, whose needs aren't going to be met, and certainly are not going to be met by any kind of systemic avenue in any time soon without incredible amounts of, say, public pressure. You know, I don't, yeah, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want any harm to come to anyone if it can be prevented, but when so much harm is being done so openly against people that I care about, my instincts tend to kick in, and I no longer am always thinking about the right thing to do, just the pertinent or important or the only thing that in some cases can address the material harm being done. And sometimes that's a very direct type of action. I don't know how much I can actually talk about my genuine thoughts on this on here, but trying to, yeah, ultimately, yeah, time is out in a lot of ways for a lot of the marginalized people that live in this society with us, and if there is a way to change the outcomes for most people, it's pretty clear that, you know, all of the things that they were warning us about for the last, you know, the Democratic Party's been warning us about, you know, this could happen and this might happen, or I guess more accurately, sorry, I'm in drawing mode and not necessarily saying anything properly. What I mean is, left-wing activists have been firing off alarm bells long before Trump was in office. You know, my first election was Bush, the second term of George W. And so, you know, I've been hearing these kinds of alarm bells for a long time, and eventually they do trickle into some actual representatives that work in Congress or in the Senate. You know, even presidential candidates. You know, sometimes reflecting a lot of the same concerns that a lot of grassroots movements often espouse. But the frustrating thing is with they can they can talk the talk, but they don't seem to know how to walk the walk. Even when every advantage is stacked in their favor, they are not willing to do the hard and dirty work that is necessary. Whereas the Republican Party is always willing to get as nasty as possible to make sure that its fascist intentions are its most intense and radical wishes are coming true. You know, we have had minor gains. You know, for example, the right for queer people to get married. Gay marriage is a huge win in a lot of cases for civil rights, but we see these rights being ratcheted backwards. And this is during times where the populace is more liberal than it's ever been, more left-leaning than it's ever been in this country. And a small, less than 30% or around 30% minority group of evangelical-minded people are getting what their desires are, their desired outcomes, which make life worse for all of us. No, yeah, for sure. Gerrymandering's a serious issue. But yeah, I mean, we have plenty of examples of people who ran on fairly radical platforms in both the Senate and the House. That once they were elected, Kyrsten Sinema is almost, exactly who I'm thinking of. But once they made it, their campaign promises and what seemed to be their previously genuinely held beliefs fall by the wayside for fucking lobbyists. Once she gets that lobbyist cash, the trash or dumpster diving anarcho weirdo that ran in Arizona is suddenly, against the Green New Deal and any number of other things that ultimately her vote mattered a lot, to the point where things were failing to pass that should have passed, because Kyrsten Sinema could be swayed by not a political party, but money. Not values or beliefs or ideology, but cold, hard lobbyist cash. And this is just one example, but, this goes even bigger when you think about Barack Obama's fairly radical campaign compared to the drone-striking brown civilians across the planet actual presidency that Barack Obama had. So I don't know. I have fundamentally, I would say, zero faith in the actual system to address the concerns that, we all have. Just getting our basic needs met as a society is something that the richest country in the world ought to be able to do, and can, but refuses to actually do, because our subservience is more important to them than our well-being. Yeah, we're going to be, thank you for reminding me I should do that. So, Saturday's stream. let's talk about that for a minute. You know, I'm gonna jump back on camera because I stopped drawing about a half hour ago. Just get set up real quick. There we go. So, Saturday, I have a lot of ideas for shows to watch. Had some recommendations, suggestions from different people in my general community, friendships, people I know. People have been recommending this and that. Love is Blind is one that's come up at least a couple of times. And I think we were talking about, was it on stream we were talking about the one you were recommending, Sam? The Edwardian, the courtship. Yeah. So, yeah, been thinking a lot about it. Not entirely sure what to watch yet. I just know that I can't do more Ink Master. It'll drive me insane. So, yeah, and I think, like, it's in less of a, like, there's, the commentary is complicated. As we saw last Saturday, it gets into a lot of different territories where dating shows, it's gonna be just, you know, you see the problem. It's fairly direct and it's fairly clear. So I'm probably gonna do some dating reality shows. Right, the Zac Efron Room Raiders. I don't know if any of you are aware of this, but Zac Efron did a Room Raiders that, looking back on it, I'm sure he wishes wasn't on the internet, but surely is. At least last we checked, it was on YouTube to watch for free. So, we might even be able to get away with showing you that. Not entirely sure, though. Probably not, frankly. But, who knows? We've also talked... I mean, I've talked about Sexy Beast a lot. That's a really weird show. Definitely worth talking about. Talked about Fuckboy Island. That's definitely a potential. I also haven't seen a lot of Love Island. So, there's definitely plenty of seasons of Love Island that I could watch. Ooh, and man, that show gets me heated. Most of them do. I think it's, there's another one, oh god, it was like a Nikki Glaser hosted one before she did Fuckboy Island. Did she have her own reality show? Oh my god. Amazing. Anyway, I can't remember the name of it. It was running on Hulu, and it was basically just like, you know, it was a blind date. I think that was what it was called, blind date. But it was basically a bunch of blind dates. You would have like 2 or 3 an episode, and that shit got real messy. So yeah, I don't know. We could watch any of these. You can watch ones that you recommend. I'm pretty much open to anything. Just I think something like that. It felt like the way that they edited and like produced it. It felt kind of canned, but it also felt kind of like are you familiar with like any of the romance video games, like the dating sim video game kind of things? Yeah, I mean, you watch Droppy, you're fairly familiar with stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, it felt like that. Like, I don't think they had, like, stat sheets, but it felt like when they were introducing the people, that's what the vibe was. There was this one episode that was really messy where a guy brought his puppets on the blind date and, like, got the lady... He didn't just bring his puppets. He made one puppet that looks like himself, and that's his puppet. But then, when he got the job for blind date, he made another puppet that looked like the girl on the show that he, like, before they met. So he had her as a puppet before they ever met each other. I don't know how production allowed that to happen, but it did. So that was the first weird. Yeah, absolutely horrifying. Abso-fucking-lutely. And then, this guy who's like a puppet comic, but yeah, a puppet comic. After their like date where they played with puppets that looked like each other, they went to like dinner and drinks, right? Like a much more normal version of a date. But then that guy got completely fucking wasted and made it just embarrassed himself just over and over and over again, trying to, like, he had already, like, basically got, like, they were vibing. They had, like, a genuine connection. She was ready to, like, you know, she thought he was cool. Somehow, after the puppets. But then he just gets fucking wasted, like, blackout drunk on this dating show. And, absolutely just blows his own shit up. It's one of the most catastrophic, like, cell phones I've ever seen caught on film. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Blind Date. Yeah, so that's what we're doing this Saturday at 1 to 4-ish. I think last time I went to, like, 4:30, 4:45. I can't really remember. Yeah, largely, I think the reason I'm having a hard time coming up with an end time for that is because I don't want to, like, leave the episode before it's over. Like, I want to finish the episode. And I definitely, like, had a lot of moments where, I mean, it took us to watch, I think, one hour dating show. It took us, like, 3 hours. Maybe I watched 2 episodes, I don't remember, but either way. Takes me a long time to get through that kind of material, and I'm sure once it's dating and not just like tattoos, which isn't like, high potential, it could take an hour show and turn it into 4 hours of content. So we'll see. But yeah, so that's what we're doing this Saturday. Hope you'll stop by. I'm excited about this new program we're doing. Last week was received pretty well. Last Saturday. It's Monday? Tuesday. Live with Lava Sub. Tuesdays. Anyway. Yeah, seemed to do pretty well. I had fun doing it. It was relatively easy to just kind of vibe and sit there and, I mean, it's watching TV. This is the most natural fucking thing an American does. So it's fairly easy. The difficult part is making the thing I'm watching the worst possible thing on television. So there's that. That's the hook. That's the hook. It's a dramatic hook for you, the audience. Oh man, are you coming for Lost right now in my headphones? I've never watched it. I didn't care about Lost, but I don't know. I mean, I don't blame you. I would never spend as much time as it would take to watch Lost. But yeah, I mean, there's a dedicated fan base there, that's for sure. Man, if that's what you want me to watch on stream, let me know. We'll watch Lost, and I'll react to Lost. That sounds like not fun at all, actually. Yeah, I have thought about, maybe doing at some point in the future actual shows that I enjoy and reacting to those, although I feel like a lot of the time it's so good, which isn't very entertaining, so maybe not. I've watched a lot of 90s B movies. Yeah, I mean, so ultimately narrative storytelling. We could watch some of that as well. I'm, pretty open. Whatever y'all want to watch, or want me to, whatever you want me to react to, and do commentary for, I'm down to just do live commentary. It's not exactly like you know, it's not a video essay, but you know, I'm gonna do my best. My brain doesn't write like that for some reason. I've tried. Trust me, I've tried. But yeah, that's just about it for us today, folks. Thank you so much for coming. What else do we have going on? I think we have another month or so until Iron Hearts is going to do its re-premiere. Am I correct on that one? I think it was... Oh wait, I think it was April. So we're within the next... It's going to probably be within the next few weeks. I think it was April. Might have been May. I can't remember. But Zach knows. Zach will let us know. But yeah, we will have Iron Hearts coming back, and I will be transitioning out of Pip into yeah, I hate to break it to you here, but I'm not going to be playing Pip for the rest of the campaign, or maybe not for the rest of it, but when we start back up, I will be in my my barbarian Christ Rankle, who I designed basically like if you took Macho Man, or like maybe Ultimate Warrior, but like, you know, the pro wrestler from that period, and you combined it with Santa Claus, and then inside its brain you stuffed all of like anarchist and communist philosophy in it. That's Chris Wrangle, aka Cinderpaws. And yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one to get back into. That was my first character with the Iron Hearts, and because I first joined them. It was supposed to be a Christmas game, but that Christmas game kept getting delayed until like May or June, I think, until we finally played our first session. It was like basically Christmas in summer, and I played my first campaign with Zach and Matt and the guys, and we had a lot of fun. I played through. It was supposed to be a one-shot as well, but it lasted like 5-6 sessions, I think, ultimately. And that turned into, like, directly from there, went into the Feywilds, where I changed over to another character that you haven't seen yet, Dagon, who might make an appearance or two. If you watched any of the Iron Hearts, you definitely heard him referred to multiple times by Pip or any of the other characters. Yeah. Dagon was a fun one too. Honestly, it'd probably be if I was thinking about like how important tactics and combat were in this situation, I would probably be playing Dagon, because he's really sneaky and good at shooting things. That's his whole thing. But Christ is just such a fun, silly character that, especially for the rest of Tomb, I kind of want there to be more fun. Like, Dagon is fun, but he's like an orphan. He's got a tragic backstory. He's like, you know, he's like the most complicated character I've probably ever created. He's really interesting. Maybe if I had more time, I'd tell you all about him, but I don't. So, but yeah, the Dagon is a really complicated character. Christ is, you know, Kami Claus, the wrestler, which is just fun. So, yeah, we're also going in with a much smaller party. I think we're at a total of 2, but we might work our way up to 4. I can't remember where Zach's at with that. But a lot of the old Iron Hearts members, like Shane, is currently going and doing college courses, trying to get I think it's his BA or another degree, I can't remember which. Sorry, Shane. Sean is working. I don't know if he wants me talking about this. Sorry, Sean. Sean's working on a video game that he's working on by himself because he's crazy. No, but it's going to be really killer once he's done with it. I'm really excited for him. It's obviously really important. Yeah, it'll be really fun once he gets it finished, but it's probably going to take years and years and years. Sean is a really, really interesting dude, and I'm sure that whatever he puts out is going to be fascinating to see. Maybe we'll have him on. He'll tell us all about it sometime. Yeah, and then Ronnie wasn't really like we said bye to Bluegill Billy in one of our last sessions, so he won't be coming back, unfortunately. So yeah, I think that just basically is just leaving me and Matt at this point. We might find a couple of other players to jump in and join, but most of the Ironhearts are going to be kind of wrapped up and doing other stuff with their life for the next, who knows how long. I mean, Shane, at least the next 6 to 9 months, I think these classes are going to last him. And he'll probably be doing more classes, but he might have some time in between. Might have just more time generally once he gets the degree. So yeah, it might take a while before all of the Ironhearts are back behind the same table again, which, hopefully just builds your anticipation for us for watching it. Other than that, God. Oh, y'all are doing the last, when's the last Ignore the Bird coming out? So, in the next, so you'll have the one you're editing now up. Okay. So we have an episode of Ignore the Bird Follow the River coming out in the next week or so. And that'll be the second to last episode of that program, followed by the finale, which they're still yet to record. Yeah, keep your eyes open for that on our YouTube. And yeah, other than that, I think I might try and have Seth back on in the next little bit, because I found out some really interesting stuff about Pokemon. Did you know that Pokemon doesn't have like a unified canon? It kind of blew my mind thinking about it, especially it being Nintendo. Like, they're pretty good about that stuff. They made Legend of Zelda's like canon timeline make sense. But Pokemon doesn't have any of that. I was playing Pokemon Snap. Me and Kat are back on the Switch Online stuff, so we were playing Pokemon Snap. I've never played it before. I had a very selfish friend who owned it, but would never share. Like when we went over to his house, I would just watch him play Pokemon Snap. Don't do that to your friends. That's not cool. Unless they're just like, a stream audience and likes watching people play video games. I'm a participant. You got video games? I'm gonna play. I want to play, man. Anyway, so we were playing Pokemon Snap, and I asked a group of another Discord channel that is a bunch of my buddies, filmmakers, and queer folks, and neurodivergent people. It's a really wonderful community. I just asked them because I figured they would know. Is Pokemon Snap canon? And that started a discussion that lasted hours last night, where it was just like a discovery of my own, while also like their discovery. Like one of the people has just been a Pokemon fan like their whole life. They never even thought about the fact that none of the stuff that happens one to the other, like, because there's manga, there's the trading card game, there's the video games, there's the anime, there's the movies, and none of them share canon. Not one. None of them. There's all the side games, Snap and Coliseum and Pokemon Adventures. None of them share continuity. Which, if you remember, me and Seth, in our first time having him on, talked a lot about the kind of inner or multi-dimensional kind of storytelling that is all just fan theory that we were going through about Silph within the Pokemon universe. With this information, I think that conversation expands even further, and we end up having some really interesting territory, at least to work in for fun. Like, at least to think about, like, how to unify all of these different timelines, how to make something congruous that is entirely, like, might as well be separate entities from each other. Like, yeah, so, keep your eyes out. Maybe next week I'll be doing another Pokemon fan art. But we have to be patient. I don't know what Seth's schedule's like, so don't get your hopes up. Stay calm. Maybe we'll watch Pokemon anime. That's a thing we can do. Anyway, folks, my brain is broken, and you're all lovely. So I hope you take care of yourself, take care of each other. Good journeys.